Okay, in this video I'm just going to show you how you're going to edit and complete quizzes and tests online. And most of the quizzes that you'll have in data management will be multiple choice in nature. But when you have a test, you'll be required to put in some extended response answers into text boxes, which are a little bit quirky to use when you're dealing with mathematical notation. I'm going to show you how to get around that and use the built-in equation editor in the D2L website. It's a little slower, but for the most part it should cover anything that we need to do in terms of showing your work in a pseudo-traditional way using the appropriate notation. So let's take a look. The practice quiz I put on is in Unit 1. We'll click on that. And then you'll scroll down, you'll see that Unit 1 practice quiz, I just stuck it at the end of the first unit. And it's just so that you get a sense of just practicing doing something like this. The quizzes and tests will be a similar format. Now, there are instructions with each quiz as well as the tests. And what I'm going to look at is just to show you how you can actually do this just simply by going to the quiz and see down at the bottom you'll see start quiz. When you're ready to go, there are sometimes you have time limits on tests and things like that, so just be aware once you get going you want to stay and finish it. You just can't do a test and spread it out over a period of 3 days, for example. You got to do it all in one shot, so be ready to go when you do it. So let's just start the quiz, and it'll ask me to, it might take some time to load depending on your speed of your internet connection, and it'll load up here. Okay, so there's the general quiz questions. Now notice that the first question here is a multiple choice question, and all you need to do really is just select which answer you'd like, and each time you are finished you just click save when you're happy with your response. Now the first 4 questions of the practice are just simply multiple choice questions, which are pretty easy to do. No one has ever had trouble doing quizzes over the last few years online. But this is what I want to show you. If you want to put in a longer answer, what I suggest is the easiest way, it's certainly one of the ways, but it's certainly one of the easiest ways, is simply using the actual equation editor in the actual D2L. In the question itself. Using the equation editor in the answer box to show appropriate formula and notation when simplifying 8p4. So 8 permute 4 times 4 factorial. So this is kind of like a proof because you're trying to show it in the form of some sort of number factorial. So this is where you're going to have to show your work. Now, you just can't put your answer down because I'm going to be looking to give you some part marks and some steps along the way. So what you can do is, because of that may require some particular notation, especially this, for example, and fractions, etc. You might want to check out this little tool over here to the right. And if you click on that, you will see that you'll have lots of different options in terms of fonts, sizes, etc. That's not a big deal. But over here on the right, I'll just slide over a little bit. You can see that there's little tables, other options and editing functions, but the one I want to look at is this right here, the summation symbol. And you want to click on graphical equation. This is the easiest way to do it. And when you click on this, what it allows you to do is it allows you to use basically an equation editor that comes up here on your screen that allow you to show your work in terms of how you would normally go about showing it on a piece of paper. Notice all the mathematical symbols are here. There's different menus that you can choose with different symbols, all the way through to matrices, and which will become useful later on, and also different forms like this. So, like for example, the first one is 8 permute 4. Well, you know that that's the same thing as saying, well, let's just take this. That's like saying, what is it? n bracket n minus 4 bracket factorial. And of course, that's the same thing as times, oh, there it is, you can use that, that's fine, times 4 factorial. So you've simplified it using your formula. You can even hit enter, it equals, and then you can simplify this, again, using the fraction 8 factorial over 4 factorial times 4 factorial equals 8 factorial. And normally you would scratch those out and cross those out, but I'm not too worried about that. I can see what you're doing, and in terms of your simplification process, some things that you do when you're doing mathematics on paper, you can do a lot easier than you can on the computer, and this would be sufficient. I could see that those two numbers are the same. Whether you have strikes out or not is not going to make a difference. But again, you could probably put a number in there if you'd like. You can show me that if you really want to show me all your work. So for example here, I could do this and say, okay, let's just back this up. So you really wanted to show your work, which is nothing wrong with that. So let's go 8 factorial, and then you want to show that this is really actually a slash. So it's going to be 4 factorial, and then times 4 factorial, but I want to scratch that out, so it's 4 factorial. So you can see that you can show me that simplification step. And again, I'm not going to go crazy about that, but see, that's pretty nice. And it shows you the full solution, and you can insert it when you're done, and it saves it as this little text block that unfortunately you really can't see it, but see that little symbol right there? You really can't see that, but trust it's there, because it is. And then you can save it. So try that out when you do the practice quiz, and just fiddle around with that while you're doing it. And in the future, when you do your first unit test, you'll actually have boxes like this to put your answer using the actual equation editor built right in. There's other ways of doing it. You can copy different formats and into the actual space, but I think that might be, for most users, to be the best way.